Everybody ready?
I'm coming.
Council meeting on.
Are you saying the pledge? We're going to. Okay. Just gonna stay standing, just say that. I think we should say it. That's the best part of the Super Bowl. Yeah. Recorder on.
Yep.
Ready? Please stand with pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sounds a lot better that way.
It was me. I had to plug in. So you can hear them.
Good evening. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Approval of minutes from January 14th. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Take the roll, please.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Payment of bills in the amount of $323,028.61. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue.
Yes.
Financial report, Nick.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Went over in finance tonight, first month of the year. Was a very good January. There's a few asterisks just to say about how good it was, but it was very good. Income tax was $361,000 for the month. Last year it was $281,000. So that is an increase of almost 30% year over year. And we're now, when we talk about income tax, we're truly comparing apples to apples because we have the 1 1/4 in for the last 2 years. Very good employment numbers. The withholding was $331,000 compared to last year. It was $249,000, so that's a very good increase. That shows you that employment still, thankfully, here in the village is very strong. The water and sewer was up substantially. Water and sewer were up from 57,000 to 107, and from 65,000 to 110. The reason that truly is one of our larger consumers. There was some billing issue. They had moved. I won't get into too much more than that. Just know that it's kind of an anomaly that it's that much higher. The usage isn't up. I think Leslie looked into that, and it's pretty much close to what it was in January. But regardless, in our big three, income tax, water, and sewer, that puts us at $579,000 for the month, where a year ago was $405,000. So that's an increase of 43%. So that's very, very good numbers. Payroll for the month, again, it's a couple asterisks with this too, was $116,000. Last year it was $166,000, and the year before that it was $152,000. Those years had 3 payrolls in the month, so we had 2. So that kind of adds to the narrative here of our month. We had $637,000 in receipts, $452,000 of expenses. But remember, of that $752,000, $500,000 goes to our debt payments. So we were at a loss for the month, but we are always for the month of January. But when you compare this year, we were at a loss of $115,000 compared to last year, which was $389,000. That's a $273,000 swing from the year before. So we're starting the year off very well compared to last year. And hopefully the employment will continue to be stable. Oh, last thing, we made our $500,000 debt payment. So our total balance of loans at this point is a little over $7 million. Those same loans started at $18.5 million, so that's a pretty good clip that we're paying those down to.
Any questions for Nick? I say the numbers are over the top good, but
Yeah.
there are some reasons they are, and I think we'll see it settle out here by the end of the first quarter.
Yep,
The nice thing is our income tax is apples to apples this year,
yep,
so our January last year should mirror it, so those numbers should be real.
right, very good.
You know what I found to be interesting is the income tax, the 361 we got, I looked at the January for all the prior years, and they weren't, I figured that was just like an end of the year, things came in January, and it was just an odd number, but if you look at the last 7 years, January doesn't stand out as being some big month, so it's
Right.
weird how big it was.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, there's a,
Good weird.
yeah, in a good way.
Exactly.
I mean, there's some pretty good employment stuff going on here in this village, so, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Ambulance report, I asked the supporting entities not to be here tonight, just to submit a report, so they're in your packet. If you have any questions on them, we can relay it to them, but they will not be represented here tonight. That is fire and ambulance, so any questions for ambulance?
Is there anything that stuck out in the month? Anything?
I looked at it, Bill, I didn't see that. I thought response time is about the same as year over year. The calls are fairly similar, so it's,
No overdoses, that's good.
no. Okay, the fire department report is in your packet as well. I see they're still offering for anybody that wants to go deep sea diving between now and the end of February. They didn't send a date, but I have no interest. If you do, Carl, go for it. I have one rule of thumb, stay off the ice.
Smart roll.
Any question for the fire department? We'll move to economic director, Leslie.
So we've been working on the rollout and the building of the new websites. We've also been doing marketing some of our commercial properties, specifically focusing on clothing, general retail, and some warehousing. We've been answering some RFPs, but a lot of the RFPs that are coming out right now are for freestanding vacant space, and which we don't have to fit the needs that are coming through right now. And then still collaborating with our different agencies. I'm going to have a meeting here, hopefully, for the next couple of weeks with ODOT to discuss a couple items and see what they can do to help us out.
Their building is progressing nicely. If anybody's driven by there, it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Leslie, when's our next meeting with the Outside Economic Development Committee?
So there isn't one scheduled right now.
What if we could schedule a Zoom meeting just to get everybody's input, see how they're all doing?
Okay. No problem.
Yes, okay. Maybe in March.
Okay, no problem. I mean, you can have a normal meeting in March if you wanted to.
I wouldn't do a Zoom meeting, I just have a meeting.
You could have a normal meeting.
Have it here?
Yeah,
Leslie
you could have it at the
so
normal
it's-
That
scheduled
would be
time
better yet.
on the Tuesday at 6. So you could have that at that normal time, and that slot is still available, is still
Right.
there. No problem.
Zone inspector reports in your packet. John won't be joining us tonight as well. Any questions for John? I talked to John today. He's doing an outstanding job. I said, I've been through 5 zone inspectors as mayor between the 90s and now, and he is by far head and shoulders above anybody we've ever had in that position. He works hard at it. He takes an interest in it. You can tell he's not a pencil whip guy. He gets into the details, so John does an excellent job, so.
I saw him out the other day. It was 5 degrees and snowing, and he was taking pictures.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Takes ownership of the job, which is good. Any questions for John? Streets, Joe?
So this winter has been very difficult. We haven't had a lot of snow, but it's been so cold, when it snows a quarter of an inch, the cars drive on top of it and turns to ice. So there's been a lot of days where, you know, I have to have somebody come out at 7 PM, salt till 10. We don't do anything overnight, and then part of the crew has to come back in and start salting again at 2 or 3 in the morning. We've done that quite a bit. Other than that, we're just repairing broken equipment between the water plant, the wastewater treatment plant, and, you know, mowers and snow blowers and different things like that.
I thought it might be of interest that you got a quote, and was in a payment of bills tonight, if you saw it, for a generator to support the service garage.
Right, so we have one quote currently with the generator company that already works with the village, with all the other bigger generators around town for the wastewater treatment plant and some of the other pump stations. The one quote was for $20,000 for the one at the shed, which will run the whole shed, be able to open up our doors, run our furnaces, run our welders, different things like that. And I think the other one was right around 6 for the pump
Seven.
station?
Seven.
7. And the other one was like $7,000 for the pump station over by Marathon on 608. Because what happens is when we lost power for that 4 days down in that end, we had to call Tim Frank every time that thing filled up. So when Craftmate starts pumping, when they pump it over, it fills up like right now. So then we have to hurry up and call Tim. Tim comes down, he pumps it out, and then we're good again until it happens again. But I think we had to pump like 4 or 5 times. You know, we had a bill of like $3,000. So, I mean, the power goes out 3 times in 5 years, and you've paid for that generator. So,
But even at the shed, I mean, when the power goes out, it's because of inclement weather, usually.
yep,
That's when you need it the most, to be able to function up there. If you have a tool break and run a welders, like, so I think we should have done it years ago, but I'm glad to see it's
yeah.
getting there. The other thing, I had a question, is it cheaper to salt or to plow?
Well, it's always cheaper to plow
Because of the cost of salt?
because of the cost of salt. So,
So I see them driving around just salting,
yeah.
not plowing, I mean, blades up, they're
No.
throwing salt.
So if there's not a half inch or more of snow on the ground, we don't drop the blade. We just throw salt.
So I ran a
Like-
survey on my driveway.
You did what?
I ran a survey on my driveway.
In a survey?
When I blow it and I get it this high, it melts on its own.
Right.
So why don't we just run the plow if it's cheaper to plow? Why don't we just plow it and let it melt off?
Oh, well, I will do whatever you tell me to do. However, this is what happens. So when we have to start plowing or salting, we have to start at 3 in the morning because it takes 5 hours to hit every road in the village. Okay? So whether we drop the plow or whether we salt, nothing usually works unless the temperature is above 25 degrees. So yeah, you're taking the heavy snow off, but you're still leaving the ice. So then everybody that comes in at 4:30 in the morning until the sun comes up at 8 o'clock in the morning is driving on ice. So you have more chances of accidents, which we
I
have.
just wondered.
Yeah.
'Cause I see him driving, I thought, if you're gonna salt, why don't you put your blade down?
That's all it is. And so if we have less than a half an inch, we know that as soon as that sun comes up, or if it's over 25 degrees, it's going to melt it. But it's like this morning, we had spots of ice everywhere, but as soon as that sun popped out, I mean, everything just, it melts right off real fast.
So I mentioned to Cliff while you were off that I came through town and your front window was covered with stuff.
You talking about me?
Yeah,
My
your
car?
office, your
Oh,
office.
the office, okay.
I mean, the main window, I thought, but it was ODOT that went through at 40 miles an hour and sprayed that. I mean,
Yeah,
you
we-
couldn't see in your windows.
I didn't even, yeah.
We normally, we know our town, so we know where to go slow. But yes, sometimes when ODOT goes through, they are just going
I
through.
see other evidence of that on the main roads where they've really shot it 20 feet off the road. It's like, they must be going 40 miles an hour, but
But then those plows are a lot bigger than what
they
we have too.
got to get it done too,
Yeah.
so it's like.
You know, one comment on it, Ben, I know like Hauser over at Mini Mart, because I sit out there in the morning and read the paper, they just salt when it's like that. They don't plow when it's
I know,
got
they don't.
the
Yeah,
half
I'm
inch.
saying, I just wonder why, if it's cheaper to plow,
Yeah.
why don't you? I saw you spent $9,000 on a payment of bills on salt, and I thought, a lot of money.
Yeah, when we order it like 100 tons at a time, so.
All right. Any other questions for Joe? Police report?
So in your packets are all the numbers, all the stats. I'm not going to go over those so you guys see them. We're going to hire a new officer, a new part-time officer today. as soon as we get down to those ordinances, Patrick Cooney, he's from Parma, good kid. Our other part-timer, Tiffany Wolf, has resigned. She got a grant to go back to school to cosmetology. She makes more money doing that than she does being a cop. As far as training, nothing really scheduled yet because we don't know what the schools are going to be or what they're going to allow in person or not in person. But we have some range and defensive tactics stuff set up in-house. Crimes, really nothing big. We have some stuff, a couple of thefts at the village apartments, and a mask issue, disorderly conduct, and trespassing on a gentleman that likes to go to retail locations and not wear his mask. Equipment and vehicles, everything's going okay. We have asked that when we gave the license plate reader back, that company gave us $10,200. So we asked that council allow us to spend that $10,200 to purchase new rifles and shotguns for the cruisers, which the, not safety,
Safety committee.
with which the safety committee did agree with. So we just need council to approve that. That's it? It's done? It's
We're
good?
done.
Okay, well, I don't need any approval then.
Buy all the guns you want, Joe.
That's all we have.
You can quit selling it, you got it already.
That's it. I'm good then.
That new officer, does he commute from Parma?
Yes.
He does.
He's here.
Yeah, he's here.
You'll get to meet him here in a few minutes.
No, it's only like 40 minutes. It's really not bad. Yeah.
Put a plow on his car.
We don't like to leave Middlefield.
Hey, Joe? Joe,
Yes, sir.
would you like to touch on the cameras?
Yes. So the camera system that we currently have that goes around the building and inside the building is outdated. So we did talk to the committee, and I asked for permission to have the village buy that camera system. That camera system was approved last year prior to COVID. Once COVID came and we tried to reduce spending, I didn't buy it. So I just asked for new approval this year that we were able to get those cameras and get them replaced.
And Joe, we're looking at putting them at the,
Yeah, so after the cameras go on this building, I'm gonna get a quote from the camera guy to put a camera at the wastewater treatment plant, the water treatment plant, and the well facility, and possibly maybe even one at Mineral Lake. But I'll get those quoted out and let you guys know on the next meeting.
Joe, those thefts at the Middlefield apartments, were those in the apartments themselves or in the vehicles?
So there were a few separate, and so there was a theft inside of the apartments that was kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, maybe like a fast change type of deal. And by the same suspect, and then a couple out of vehicles, yes.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Hey, rec report. Leslie.
Okay, sorry, let me. So winter sports are, basketball's gonna probably be coming to an end here at the end of the month. Wrestling is just getting back on track. Next week, they'll have a match. Our spring sports are going to be doing sign-ups soon. And Jimmy was able to get all the teams in leagues, call everybody, get it all organized. So we'll be having that coming up at the end of the month. And just general information, I did meet with the new treasurer of the Cardinal Schools. We went over how we're going to do quarterly reporting and the expectations of what the funds were actually used for, what they should be used for going forward. And she's keeping it in their own fund line item, so everything will be separate just for that. And then Joe and I talked about putting extra mulch around the playgrounds that haven't had it in a while to make sure that, just safety-wise, there's enough depth of mulch there for the impact of when kids fall. And that's about it.
Good. Things seem to be going well at the rec department, so good effort by everybody.
Yeah, quick question, it's probably early to talk about Eagle Park but if COVID's still going on, I'm assuming we'll just keep that closed for the
When
time
we talk, we're
being?
going to look at it next month because it takes some prep. You got to get it
Right,
tested
it
and
hasn't
all that.
run
So
for
we
a
want to
year.
make sure if we're going to open it, we're going to, so we may decide to do the prep in the event we can open it.
Yeah.
So we're ready to open it. I mean, it's open air, it's mainly kids.
Right,
You
mean,
could
if-
even, yes.
I mean, Ron, your question earlier, the bars now have no curfew. It is immediate. I just got a text.
Okay, all right.
So I'm saying, things are opening up, so if, I mean,
I know you can go to like a indoor water park in Ohio and you just have to wear your mask when you're not in the water. I mean, we could, so we just, something to talk about next month in a more serious capacity. Yeah.
I'm saying, I think I would plan on, like you're gonna open, and if we don't, you don't, but
They have to wear a mask outside, like who's gonna enforce that? Yeah.
Just from preventive maintenance, I think it'd be a good idea to get it running, because it didn't run for a year, just to,
yeah, we talked about it earlier tonight.
okay, I missed that, sorry.
You weren't here, you weren't on the committee, so.
Joe, did you guys, I know we were talking about replacing the sails up there. Did that ever get done?
No, so last year it was really hard. I had to actually get a hold of the company that built our splash park to get a hold of the guy who made the sails for the guy who built our splash park. So I kind of stopped that when COVID hit, but I have all the contact information. But I think we're probably still looking anywhere between 6,000 and 10,000 to replace those two or three sails. But, they've lasted this long, so it might be worth the cost.
I remember we were talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I did finally find them.
Okay, thank you.
I would probably have to replace them regardless. People can sit there, they walk there, it's like,
Right.
let's make it look. it's
They
like
look bad.
So Leslie, what would it cost to get another mic? Can we do another mic on this system?
Yes.
I'd make a motion right now to spend the money on the extra mic.
Yes, we will. I already have that in the works.
I'm starting to go cross-eyed here watching this mic go back and forth. It's like,
Well, you know what I was
Want to
wondering
share
too?
it anybody with Joe?
Is there any way do they have mics that clip to your lapel so that you can everybody's got to lean in and everything, so you can just kind of,
I can handle the leaning, I just can't handle the sliding.
yeah, because I'd rather have a lapel
I
thing.
can just start doing this instead.
Lavalier, they're called lavalier mics.
Okay, public participation, anyone have anything?
We do. We have the demonstration of Middlefield, Ohio.
Oh, on Zoom?
Yeah.
So before you put them on, I think all of you are aware that Rick took a spill. So he had surgery a couple weeks ago, and I texted him this morning saying, because I was going to give council an update, and he said, hey, they're releasing me tomorrow. I said, where are you going to go? He said, I'm coming home. He said, and it's my birthday, which I didn't know that. I said, great, I get to go home and it's my birthday. So I said, can you handle stairs? He said, well, it's easy. I put a walker on the top of the stairs, a walker on the bottom, and I use a crutch to get them up, and easy peasy was the exact terminology, easy peasy. I get a text about 4 hours later, said a doctor just saw me, and the bone structure, it's not healing right because the bone structure isn't there for what they did. I need a hip replacement. So he went from feeling like getting home on his birthday to being down for the count again. So I told him I'd relay it to you, and it's not,
After they fix the hip, he's got to have it replaced now?
yeah, so they went through the rehab and the surgery of pins and screws, and now he's got to get a hip replacement. So it's like, and he said it is what it is, like, so he's handling it right, but just, I'd have walked out in the back and sucked on an exhaust pipe.
Will he come home at all in between, or they're just going to do it?
What's that?
Will he come home for a little bit and then get rescheduled, or are they just
I
doing
think
it?
they just do it. I think,
Yeah, wow.
I hope he does well.
He's probably better off.
what's that?
He's probably better off with a new hip.
I wonder why they didn't do it initially. And he said they couldn't because he broke his pelvis.
Yeah, they couldn't attach it from what he told me.
But if they couldn't do it then, how can they do it now? It's like, that'd be so, anyhow, it's his issue, not mine, but it's like, I'd be very frustrated. Okay, we're now ready for you gonna intro this, Leslie?
Yep.
Go ahead. You got the mic?
I do the mic. Yep. Did you hear the squeak? I squeaked it over. All right, so Brian and Kim are on Zoom also, and we're just going to show you, Brian, if you want to take the lead, and I'll if you want to share your screen, or we can just keep mine up.
Let's share mine.
Okay, let me share yours.
So Bill, while we're waiting, those Zoom things you have on our website, pretty impressive.
That from your drone?
You should be able to do it now, Brian.
Okay, I just guess I'm gonna take notes on.
You should be able to start share.
Okay, great. Let's try this. There you go.
Yep.
Great. So everybody, I think everybody's familiar with the recently launched Village of Middlefield website. And so what we did to keep a close visual relationship between the Middlefield site and the Middlefield Means Business site is basically use that theme and kind of restyled it a little bit. Plus we added some functionality. So everybody's familiar with the slider and the links from these images and a nice intro blurb and this mayor's message, which shows up automatically on the homepage along with upcoming events. And then we have some customizable boxes in here, not to mention some quick links or buttons down in this zone. So we kind of reimagined that for the Middlefield Means Business site with a new intro blurb, same slider, but the new intro blurb, this section called Let's Work Together. And then we've got economic news and events. These are also customizable boxes. And we also have, excuse me, and then we also have a featured property section down here, and we added a contact form. So what all this means is, oh, and then we reorganized a lot of the menu items as well. So the menu consists of pretty much everything that you had before, but we relabeled things and we put some of the sub pages under different sections. I won't take you through all that, but I will show you some of the cool functionality that we've built, and that includes this available properties section. So what this allows you to do is, this is all on the existing site in a different format, but we give an aerial view of the properties. We can quickly download the fact sheet, and then we can click through to an actual page which contains all the details from the Jobs Ohio or the Hannah Commercial Properties sell sheets that are produced for any given property. And then we can go ahead and download that fact sheet again. So yeah, so this is pretty cool. And on top of that, we've got a business directory. We already have that on the site, but we added some ways to get to the different sections of the business directory. So here we have attorneys. Then we've got a list of attorneys over here, but so we don't have to toggle back to that page. We've got the list over here. And we can navigate between that taxonomy or that subcategory right now. And then we can go over here and check out automotive. So we're not navigating to a different category when we're in a given client business. So the footer contact information forms, which we built for the other site, and some quick links and your social media links over here. And other than that, it's pretty much the same thing that we had before. We're just repurposing the content and tidying things up a bit.
Thanks, Brian. Does anybody have any questions?
So where do we get the pictures for this site?
Where do we get the pictures?
on the top?
I think they were just the pictures from our photo galleries. And then some of the pictures that we had in
they
our
came-
marketing.
Yeah, they came, Ben, from the articles that I had done when we, and the photo galleries, whenever we had one of those events. Why, what do you think?
I don't think it represents Middlefield business. Looks like a barbecue.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, it should be some industrial, I think Chemtech's front office with a glass, I mean, it's something looks industrial. That doesn't look industrial at all to me. That's what Middlefield means business. You got one factory worker, you got a nursing home, you got a barbecue. I mean, to me, those aren't representative of what I would think an industrial website would look like, or a business website.
Good point. They're easy to change.
I like to see myself shaking hands with John, getting a burger, but
They're interchangeable. This isn't live anywhere either, so I was kind of hoping for feedback just like that on how to make it better.
I'm saying it says Middlefield means business, and that to me doesn't represent what I would think. We have a lot of vibrancy here with business, and that certainly doesn't show it if that's business.
Could we do more than 3 pictures so there's more variation, or is it just 3?
Brian, could we add another ticker on the top up there?
Sorry again?
Could we add another slider on the top up there?
Oh, absolutely.
An aerial shot of crab meat would be phenomenal. I mean, you've
Yeah,
got those.
we can add more to the slider up top, so we can encompass actually everybody. So we could do, healthcare, commercial, and industrial. All right, Brian, if you want to write that down, thank you. That's a good idea, Caitlin, thanks.
So I'm wondering, what's the comparison of usage of the 2 websites? We've got one website that says Middlefield means business, and then we have the village website. So do we get as much usage out of the business one as we do the village one?
No, we weren't before. It is starting to gain traction now that I have been pumping it out in our newsletters, referring people back to it. It was stagnant for a while. Our main site was receiving a lot more. It is important to have a dedicated economic development site so that you can just send companies and industry straight to that site, and they'll be able to only find that information. They won't get a lot of the firework
I agree
displays.
100%. I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that this one's being utilized.
Yeah,
I'm not sure the visibility is there. You go to Middlefield, Ohio, which we push, and you come up to the the village side of it, not the business side.
right. Everything that gets pushed out to the business as far as marketing or anything like that, I actually only include Middlefield means business. I don't normally include Ohio. Also, when I send emails to certain people, my salutation reflects who I'm talking to. So we're starting to get it out there, and you can see in the analytics that people are clicking.
Is there a link on the business site to get you to the village site?
Yes, right at the top, right above. It's kind of hard to see on that screen, but it's in gray right above where it says Middlefield means business in the upper left-hand corner. Right there where Brian's moving his hand, you could get back to the site, the main Middlefield, Ohio site. And the exact same is on Middlefield, Ohio. There's one that says Middlefield means business, and you can flip directly to that.
I wonder if those should be more prominent.
Okay, more prominent.
What was the comment?
Brian, if it would be possible to make the 2 links more prominent,
More prominent, yes.
maybe a different,
To go back and forth between the sites.
Is there anything on there for Chamber of Commerce? Is there a link for the Chamber of Commerce?
there is a link for the Chamber of Commerce. I have to remember.
Go to the business partners.
Yeah, there it is. He has it highlighted.
Shouldn't the Chamber of Commerce be more prominent somehow? Shouldn't they have a fairly good representation? I mean, that is the business, right? That's Middlefield business, this chamber. Yeah.
So you're saying you want them somewhere else other than the business partners?
No, I'm just saying that somehow or another they should be more prominent.
What about, Brian, can you scroll down on the Middlefield page, on the business page? What about if we made the chamber one of these circles? Middlefield Chamber?
Yeah, I think it should be out, should be something that is evident, because, we want retail business as well, and we want,
Brian, could we add a circle?
For the Chamber of Commerce?
Yes, please.
Sure.
Okay, I think it looks good. I mean, I like the looks of it.
Okay.
I think we should all look at both sides of it, and anything you think could be improved, or at least bring it up and talk about it, whether it's an improvement or not.
Yeah, tomorrow you'll be getting a link for the Middlefield Means Business site. So you'll be able to click on it, play around with it. It's not a live site right now, so feel free to let me know what you think or what you want added. We can change things like that.
Sure. Yeah, and we can address the comments that we got tonight before we send that link out. So, yep.
Good. Okay, thanks, Brian.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and mute y'all back. And you feel free
Okay,
to
thank
leave.
you.
First readings. I think I'm going to go down to, yes,
Lisa?
I say I think I'm going to go down to ordinance 21-109, an ordinance authorizing the hiring of Patrick Cooney as a part-time officer, police officer as of February 12th, 2021, the initial pay rate of $17 per hour, declare an emergency. Do you want to bring him in? Yeah. Hey, Patrick. So we're in the middle of reading legislation to prove your hiring. Do you feel like you're in the middle of a room? So before we get into that, before I swear you in, we need to pass the legislation. I thought before we pass the legislation, you could give a little background on yourself, your ideas for being here in Middlefield, your desire to be here, and what we talked about the other day, so.
Well, my name is Patrick Cooney. I'm from Parma, as it seems like on the other side of the country. I'm currently a full-time student at Tiffin University. I'm getting my bachelor's in criminal justice. I went to Tri-C in Parma to get my associate's. I got my associate in arts. I went to Tri-C's Police Academy. I finished up last year, beginning of 2020, right before the whole shutdown happened, thankfully. I'm 22 years old, and this is just something that I've always wanted to do ever since I was a little kid. My uncle was a police officer, my grandfather was a police officer. Uncle was RTA, grandfather was Cleveland for a little bit. So it's just something I've always wanted to do. I want to be in Middlefield because, like I've told the mayor, which I think really, Chief Tolsky, the one word that comes to mind when I think of Middlefield is family. I was reading up on the mayor's history here as mayor, and back in the late 90s, you guys had a tornado July 4th, the village came together as a family. COVID happened, the village comes together as a family. That's where I want to be. I want to be a part of that. And I hope, I will continue to keep striving and working to add to this family.
Very good. Welcome aboard. Well, not yet.
So why don't you,
Yeah, right.
introduce yourselves real quick.
Bill Blue. And
Ron
Councilman.
Weish.
Tom Lee, I'm the solicitor.
Scott Klein.
So my only concern with Patrick is the fact he has aspirations. He's getting your degree. It's like, so maybe have you sign a 20-year contract. I'm not sure how I'm gonna. Yeah. So, you were impressed with the interview. I think you do well here, and I think council will concur.
Legislation first. Should we,
Yeah,
yeah,
you gotta,
okay.
so hang with us a minute, and I'll come swear you in. Is there a motion to introduce the way the readings declared an emergency?
Second.
Any further discussion? Take the roll, please.
Morrow,
yes,
Klein,
Yes.
Harnung,
Yes.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish.
Yes.
Motion to pass.
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
So it is.
The youngest.
You're becoming an old council member.
No, what is this?
Does he know about the pizzas to Glen Valley every week? Have we filled them in?
Them in, don't
All
worry.
right,
And the Budweiser?
right?
So Patrick, would you raise your right hand and repeat after me, please? I, Patrick R. Cooney,
I, Patrick R. Cooney,
do solemnly swear,
do solemnly swear
you're good at this, that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the codified ordinances of the Village of Middlefield,
and the codified ordinances of the Village of Middlefield,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
honestly, and impartially
honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of part-time police officer
of the office of part-time police officer
for the Village of Middlefield,
for the Village of Middlefield,
Geauga County, Ohio,
Geauga County, Ohio,
during my continuance of said office.
during my continuance of said office.
Congratulations. I'm shaking hands.
Welcome aboard, Patrick.
Congratulations.
Here, I'll give you the,
Thank you.
So
gotta explode
hip.
it. At the Klein House, they don't count unless you explode. That's just
Right,
been our
yeah.
thing for years. Becca started that.
You have to explode it, Dad.
My bad.
It's not legitimate.
Had before, but now after.
I know.
Bye there, Ben. I got the cross member right between
I feel
them.
like my back hurts already.
From sitting here?
No, from
Thank
being not the youngest one in the room anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So I meant to mention in public participation, I appreciate all of you being here tonight. This is so much better, in my opinion, than a Zoom meeting. The motions are clearer, the conversations are clearer. We had a P and Z meeting the other night, and the discussion went on, would never have happened in a Zoom meeting, because you can't get in to talk, it's like, it just doesn't foster conversation, so I appreciate all of you being here.
Hey.
Hopefully,
I was gonna say, by the way, your article you had in the Middlefield Post this week, you know, what he just said about family and everything, I've gotten like 4 people comment to me about your article that they really appreciated you mentioning those people that were leaders of our community and everything, and I mean, that's what he's talking about. It was a good article.
It was a good article.
Somebody helped you write it, because it like was really intelligent the first half. Like, there's no way you wrote all that.
let me tell you something. It's all original except the punctuation.
Lost a lot of years of
Excuse me.
business people, you know, in the community.
Well, it's like, so I grew up here my entire life, so I really love, I look at those pictures, the pictures in a post this week. I remember Rexall Drug, I remember Western Auto, I remember Charlie Zhang, I remember, it's like, yeah. I was saying that's, and I guess I'm at the age where you long for that wholesomeness that you experienced back then. My kids were young, I'd call Rick Roos, the pediatrician was Dr. Lee. I'd call her, because I hated taking responsibility for anything happened to my kids. So as soon as they got sick, I'd want to hand it off to somebody. So I'd call the pediatrician at 11 o'clock at night. They need this. I'd call Rick Roos. He'd meet me at Donner. He'd have his little hat on. It's like, it just was a great being part of the community, because you knew how to get it done, and people were willing to do it, so.
And they were dedicated to their jobs.
Exactly. So, we'll move back to first readings, Resolution 21-03. A resolution authorizing the village administrator to enter into a water well license agreement with the city of Akron and declare an emergency. Is there a motion to introduce the way the readings declared an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mayor, you could, if you wanted, let this sit on first reading.
Oh, that's right, we're going to introduce an emergency, but put it on first reading, so when we're ready to go, yeah, we discussed it, I'm sorry, I forgot about it.
Okay.
So we're going to revise the motion to be placed on first reading, declared an emergency. Same with the first and second. Take the roll, please.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish, Morrow,
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-108, an ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC, 2021 Energized Community grants and funds. Is there a motion to place this on first reading?
So moved.
What'd you lose, Ben?
I had a NOPEC mask. I was going to put my NOPEC mask on for this reading. I don't know what to do with it. Take the roll.
You took it out to the car.
You had it at Planning and
Oh,
Zoning
yeah,
Tuesday.
swapped it out.
Arganti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yep.
Hornung.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-109, an ordinance authorizing the hiring of we did that one, sorry. Man, I'm really on a roll here.
Told you didn't write the article.
Yeah. Ordinance
Caught him off guard when you called him
Ordinance
out.
21-110, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator into a debt collection program and agreement with the Office of the Ohio Attorney General pursuant to revised code section 13102 and declared an emergency. Leslie, you want to expound on that for those in council who didn't hear it?
Sure, so this would be for the debt collections. This is separate from what Dennis Coyne is doing, which is prosecuting the non-filers. So once those non-filers file and say they're on a payment plan, if they become delinquent on their payment plan, they would get sent to collections. And in this case, we wanted to try out partnering with the Ohio Attorney General and having them be our quote-unquote collections agency for us.
Now, this would be like for water bills, sewer bills, things like that?
This is only for income tax.
Oh, only, okay.
So it's identify people that owe money that aren't paying.
Correct.
Did you mention there's no fee to us?
There is no fee to us.
Is important.
And if you weren't here for the meetings, Nick attested to the fact that people are using this. It's a very effective program. Is there a motion introduced, waive the readings, declare an emergency?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yep.
Hornung.
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Motion to pass?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yep.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-111, an ordinance amending Chapter 135 of the codified ordinances to create the position of lead wastewater water plant operator. Leslie?
Sure, so when the mayor asked me to do the succession planning for the village, we noticed that there would be a gap in the hierarchy of the utility department where we would need to have a lead operator who could fill in the absence of our plant manager. And then we would be hiring later on in the year operations, just a operator. And this kind of gives that differentiation between the two positions.
Good. Is there a motion to or is there a motion to place on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish.
Yes.
Second readings, Resolution 21-02, and resolution authorizing the archivist to act as a designated representative of the members of the Village of Middlefield Council for purpose of required public records training. Is there a motion to place on second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Klein,
Yep.
Hornung,
Yes.
Arganti.
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-101, an ordinance reviewing the schedule of fees imposed by the village pursuant to Section 13509 and declaring an emergency, revised on 2/11/2021.
So we heard back from, we heard back from the columbarium engraver, and they needed to increase their prices starting April 1st. So there is an increase that needs to be done for this year. It is listed in the packet right here. It would be going, these were the original costs when the columbarium was created, and this would be the first increase. So anybody who is quoted after April 1st would be doing the new rates, and everyone who was quoted prior would be paying the older rates for engraving and inscription.
That's a pretty substantial increase.
It was over 7 years.
Oh, okay.
You put it on first reading last,
Yeah, it
under
was,
the old rate, so you need to amend the ordinance as it is, and then put it on second reading as amended.
and it can go through all the
But
readings.
columbarium prices aren't, because engravings by the letter or whatever, or is it a flat rate?
It's just it's a flat rate. If there's something that is special that they want added, that is on a case-by-case basis. Like if they wanted an emblem or a picture etched or something, an epitaph, that's on a case-by-case basis. This is just the name and the birth and death date.
Why can't I have my own engraver come do it?
We do not allow that. We only have one specific.
So how do I
engraver.
know who to contact if I want to put a flower on mine?
Yeah, our cemetery sexton, and then the information is also with the local funeral homes, but it comes through the sexton when we let them know when they're purchasing the columbarium. It's listed there. It's part of the package. Yeah, you can make it part of your package, so we do have some that do have theirs escrowed with the company, so those rates, when they bought them 3 years ago, when they go to engrave, they honor the rate at which, when they purchased it.
Better put this in a paper, we might have a rush on columbariums, beat the price increase. I'd sell 4 this year instead of 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is a fine rush?
How many have we sold so far?
I don't remember off the top of
Okay.
my head. It'll be in the,
It's in the annual report, we sold
in the
one
annual
last, we sold one
report.
last year. We'll get to it here shortly.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 total.
And we ran a special last year, remember?
We did. We actually, we do have like 1.5, I think it's 1.5 filled up, maybe almost 1.5 filled up. So we have a whole side filled up, and then there's some on the other side. Purchased.
How many's left, how many's on the side? 18?
16, I thought.
I don't remember. I
Well,
have
just
to
think,
look it up.
when the sewer payment is paid off, we'll have that box filled.
Oh my God.
One a year, one a year.
Yeah, we have room for like 10.
Yeah. Okay, second reading, is the motion as amended. Second,
Second,
take the roll, please.
Ornung,
Yes.
Organti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-105, an ordinance approving the editing and inclusion of certain ordinances as parts of the various component codes of the codified ordinances of the Village of Middlefield. Is there a motion to put on second reading?
A motion.
Second.
Second.
Standard procedure, take the roll, please.
Organti,
Yes.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Ornung.
Yes.
Ordinance 21-106, an ordinance amending existing section 351-14 of the codified ordinances to create restricted commercial on-street parking areas within the village. Is there a motion to place on second reading?
So moved.
Second.
So we got a way to do this when it's passed? Like the
I'm sorry,
signage
I
has
don't
to go on
understand.
buildings that we don't own? I mean, have we got that worked out yet?
No, I can get a sign made.
I'm saying we got to make sure we can post it once we pass this. There's a way to post it effectively. Take the roll, please. Did you get a first and second?
Oh, no.
Need a first?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Blue,
Yes.
Weish,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
Klein,
Yep.
Ornung,
Yes.
Organti.
Yes.
New business, Kim Brayley, website report. All I see is we're bleeding.
What
Kim,
did you say? We're bleeding?
we're bleeding. All I see is red numbers when I look at your report. Red, red, red.
Well, actually, I was a little concerned about that too, and I looked tonight, and we're actually up 15% for this month, so that's better. But anyway, for last month, we're down 12% and 37% compared to last year, and I looked tonight for compared to last year, and we're up about 0.5% over last year, so February is looking a lot better. Anyway, that shows with the viewers on the mobile too. That goes down when the numbers drop. And the pages are the usual police blotter and photos. And I think some of this up for this month is because I've been doing this little contest with something that Bill's given us, the photos, and that's been fun, so that's helped.
So when we get the business side is done, we want to make sure we get some kind of release out that people know there's a revised website,
Yeah.
more user-friendly.
I was thinking that tonight too. As soon as you guys approve it and we know that it's clean and crisp, then we'll send something out.
Okay, any questions for Kim? We're going to put you on commission.
I can play with the numbers.
Yeah, really. We'd never know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thanks, Kim. Gonna go to- In your packet tonight, you have a 2020 year-end review. It's a recap of last year. When I went through it this afternoon, there's nothing in there that I would say isn't pointing in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, everything in there is a positive, 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 positive. So let's keep working hard to make sure that trend continues. It doesn't come organically. It's got to come by effort and us showing that we're receptive to making projects happen and work, and so let's keep up the good work. And Bill, your idea of the econ committee getting back in the swing of things, let's physically meet. It's like we need to, lose interest, nothing quicker than if you feel unengaged, so you need to be engaged, so. Okay, Leslie.
Okay, so I figured I'd just go through a couple of the slides. A lot of this you've probably already read or saw in the reports last month, but I think sometimes seeing it on graphs kind of makes a big difference. So if you look at this is our total receipts and expense comparison. 2018 is the green, and the blue is 2020. So that way you can kind of see the difference and where we're at and the trends that we actually are looking for. Our yearly balance comparison, I think everybody likes this, a graphic, but it, and let me move my little friends here. Also, our total investments are on this slide. We were able to invest a little over 5.7 million, and like Nick has said, got just shy of $70,000 in interest earned.
If I saw this in a private entity, I'd be a stockholder. So, I mean,
It's very good.
that's a great trend, so.
Things like this also help too. We do get asked, well, it's only happened once since I've been here, but companies will ask to see your finances of the actual community. And something like this to be able to show them makes the sale very easy. So here's your yearly collection summary, just put into bar graph, kind of puts it into perspective for you. 2020 is in the red, 2018 is in the red color, 2018 is the green. And just because I like graphs,
Well, you know, you think of things, we should always make sure we're aware when the income tax increase went, you know, what year it went in, and make sure in all future reports that we have that. We should note the COVID year, in my opinion. Anything that's impactful in my mind that we should, because you forget. I forget. I look back 7 years, I'll look, it's like, what happened? Well, that was the year we had, you know, we're all going to forget this at some point.
Sure, I do have some of the COVID once we start breaking down, but I can definitely add both of those asterisks in there, so that way we can always reference
Tax
it.
increase, when you see your numbers, in 5 years, 7 years, look back, why is it, what
Why
happened?
did it jump in?
Well, you know,
Yeah.
so, okay.
This graph just kind of puts together Nick's statement of cash report. It really just puts it into a graph form so you could actually see it. Notice you now have a beginning and ending balance, or two ending balances for the infrastructure fund, so you can kind of see where it was at in its infancy, and now you have a full one. The 10-year comparison of our expenditures over revenues. Again, we had very healthy years over here through the last 10 years. The revenues is shown by the purple, and your expenses are green. Statement of cash position, this is just what that graph showed earlier, but just put out in there because I think it's probably, to me, it's one of your most important reports that you could look at. The next slide I wanted to show, just to bring up, these are your water and sewer plant statistics. These are this is a very high level, just overview of your drinking water production, your wastewater plant sludge, dry tons, your effluent discharge, and your well depth, your static foot average. These items we have to put, like this year we're renewing our MPDES permits, so they're important always to have. Online utility billing, in December of last year, or 2019 versus December 2020, you can see that we are having a shift to those paying their accounts online, as well as going paperless or paying by text. And we do have more accounts now on auto pay.
What's our incentive for auto pay?
You save $1, you would save $1 as long as you go paperless.
Say $4 a year? No, it's $12 a
Well,
year.
I did make a new slide this year for capital improvements, just because we're going to be doing so many over the years now with this fund. I think it'll be kind of nice to take a look back and remember what projects we were working on. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yes.
I think that should be Elmwood.
What did I write? I wrote Edgewood, didn't I? Yes, I will fix that.
Isn't Edgewood part of Lake?
Edgewood is one, yeah,
It's also, we also did Edgewood.
yeah.
That was the year before.
That was the year before,
yeah.
yeah, that was my mistake.
Good catch there, Mr. Blue.
Thanks, Bill.
Living in that development helps.
In the police department report, every year it's in here. It's the report that Joe gives you at the end of the year, but I like to include it so that way you guys have it for easy reference. Zoning permits. This year, obviously, we'll put an asterisk on here stating COVID. Some of our permits are down than they were in years past. However, the total percentage wasn't down too great. It was 94 overall versus 111 from 2019. The recreation department, I kind of changed up the way that you receive your information. So you're going to be receiving it in graphs again this year. It kind of will hit you a little more with what's going on with the department. So if you want to take a look at it, 2020 is on the end, and the different colors break down the different age groups that are participating. This way too, you can see where the program is reestablishing itself. Same thing with fall soccer and spring soccer. And then, Ron, this is where you asked about the cemetery activity. So we did have one columbarium sale in 2020.
2 in the last 3 years. Get Sire on the line.
We've had a lot of burials in them
Saw that.
this year. There have been a lot of,
So when do you buy a foundation? When you want to put a stone up?
yes.
You buy a plot. Just seemed odd, those numbers are exactly the opposite. The plots and the foundations look like they were flipped.
No, they're not, no. They could also be like if somebody wanted to redo their foundation. Some of the foundations could have been overlapping from burials that were done in 2019.
Not a big deal, I just thought it was odd that they're exactly the same numbers. Okay.
And then I did add in, just because it was 2020 last year, everything we did for COVID and our response that we took as a village. I mean, I know Ben has received, just from the business community, and we were one of the only communities that were reaching out to the businesses to where we were. And I think that's something to be said for everybody here.
Nice report. It's good information. It's nice to see the trends you to see everywhere. It's like, so.
Nice job.
Is it on the website?
It is not on the website yet because I figured somebody would find an error, and thanks, Bill.
Need to get it on there so people.
Yeah, I'll get it on there.
Nice job, Leslie.
So, Scott, you want to comment on P and Z Tuesday night?
Yeah, the only major thing that came up during the meeting is Briar Hill. I think we mentioned at last meeting that they're looking, across the street here, they've got Sweet Briar and they own 4 properties right there. So they're coming to us to consolidate all those lots, and then we're gonna rezone it, and we discussed that as far as being our PUD, a PUD, a senior, whatnot. We're working through that. The 3 houses that face 608, they're going to resurface or reface all of those to match what they just did over at the nursing home, which is really gonna take that whole corner and make it very nice. And then they're putting up like little duplexes that are single living, independent living, for like 55 years and older type people. And I think there was 7 units with 6 for 2. Well, that's counting what's in the houses, I think.
No, 23.
23 new units.
Yeah, there's two triplexes, then duplexes, but they came out to 20 new units.
Okay, so yeah, so those will all be single living. And a couple of things that we had to discuss was like on to Terra Creek, there's probably gonna be an ingress and possibly also an egress. We told them they need to get a hold of the fire department because there really wasn't a place to turn around a fire truck once you got back deep in there. So a couple issues like that. The density is an issue because we're supposed to have a maximum of 4 units per acre in the village, but this is gonna be a total of like 20, whatever it is, with the Sweet Briar rooms, on 4.2 acres. So it came out to like 7 point something density, so that violates the code, so to speak. But with the PUD, you can kind of write those things for that specific project. So all of that's gonna be worked on in the next month, and then we'll look at it at planning and zoning again next month.
So they've accumulated 4.2 acres, which is a pretty sizable piece of property in that area, so, and they do a nice job. I mean, all the facilities look good, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna look great. I mean, once all those houses get refaced and match across the street, it's really gonna beautify that corner quite a bit.
Scott? Now,
Yeah.
you said they're gonna reface the house, but are they also putting up additional units?
Yes, that's what Ben was talking about. There's gonna be like 7, they're little duplexes, are gonna be like 7 of those with 2 houses in them, so to speak, and then like 2 with 3 or whatever it's gonna be. I forget the exact numbers, but yeah, there's gonna be like 7 or 8 new buildings.
But the units, the individual units, like 1,500 square feet, which is a nice, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Yeah.
1.5 car garage, like, it may be a place that, we may all end up there someday, you never know.
So will that be kind of like a condo?
Pretty, kind of, yes. There's gonna be a little or like a little community hub room there where people can go and play cards or, maybe a couple little work things or something. But yeah, it's gonna be like its own little stratosphere, but it's independent living, so there's not gonna be like nurses and that type of thing in there.
I think in those,
Pretty neat.
but I think in those houses, you can do like, you can buy up, you can pay the rent, you probably get a meal plan if you wanted it,
You can get a meal plan if you want it.
system with Medicaid,
You can have your laundry done if you want.
a la carte's a living, and you take your
Yeah.
additions.
And it's really like, because my dad just went through all this, it's the big thing they're doing now at nursing homes is kind of start to finish where you go to independent living where they do get you meals and laundry, but you can take care of yourself. Then you go to assisted living, then you go to the nursing home. So it's kind of like an all-in-one so that, yeah, your parent or whatever isn't moving 4 times to different, they can kind of come here and be in the Briar Hill family or Omen Family Services now. But anyway, that was the main thing out of P&Z. It'll be nice.
Okay, I think we're at the end of the agenda. I think we need a short executive session for potential litigation. Is there a motion to go into
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey,